Hey guys, Vaibhav again from TechRail, and I usually talk a lot and explain a lot, but in this video I'll be quick and demonstrate the capabilities of Chamber as fast as possible. If you want to see everything in detail, I already have the full video uploaded on YouTube. I will put the link to that one in the description of this video. So let's start. Now you go to the Chamber release page. I'm on the release page for the Alpha v0.1.0. Um, I'll copy the link to the file which I'm going to download, and I'm going to use curl minus o to download it. I am doing this because otherwise Apple is going to give you a lot of warnings if you download via browser and try to use it. And if you're on Windows is also going to complain a little bit. And depending on which OS you are, you'll have to download whatever file here is. We have got one for Windows on Intel, Darwin, which is Mac OS for Apple Silicon, ARM64, Linux for both architectures. So let me try to download that. So curl minus o and give the file name and press enter and wait for it. Now I will have to rename it and make it executable for it to work. So I'm gonna do that. So mv chamber Darwin to just chamber, and I'm going to say chmod plus x on chamber. Done. um, I have already placed it in a directory which is in the path, so I will not have to use dot slash chamber like this. I can just type chamber and it should work. You can see the same output coming out. So when you run the command shows all that you can do with it. I would humbly request you to go through the options, and if there is any help that you need, you can just use the help command over here to ask about what it can do. For example, if I say chamber help rm, it's gonna tell me what rm command will do. I have placed descriptions how to use the rm command and examples along with all the files that are these are auto generated by the library that I use. So please go through the documentation that the command gives you to understand what you can do with it. The demo will obviously go through most of what we can do. Okay, so now let me try to create a new chamber vault, and I already have a directory ready with some content in it to show you as a demo, right? So what I'm gonna do is uh, let me try to create a new chamber vault in the same in the same place. So I will let me first type the command. The command is chamber new, and then I'll give the same path. Now this is the full path. I'm not going to use this directory. I'm going to say chamber path and press enter. um, you can see the directory got created. It is trying to ask me for, it's asking me for password. You have to put in a password which is 8 characters. I'm just going to use the string password, password. In reality you should be using much better passwords. Also this is alpha, so look at the things it said. It says layout created, the password was saved to the chamber file, vault id, this is important, was set. You are not going to use it much though. You will not interact with the vault id per se, but it is here so that the same password does not create the same hash for multiple people. Read the important note. Basically it says that any path that you try to refer to inside the chamber file or the vault must start with chamber colon slash slash, and you have to specify the path with forward slashes, and even on Windows backward slashes are not going to work. That's all that it says. Right, chamber file is ready. So let me try to put in something into this chamber file. So remember that when you put files into chamber file, it will get encrypted, right? Let me try to copy this readme file. So what I'm gonna say is chamber dash dash, and I'm going to specify chamber path, which was this, right? So place that, and specify password, which was the string password, and then I want to copy the readme file, right? This over here, and I am going to, like I said, the path has to start with chamber colon slash slash. So I'm going to paste this here. What I'm going to do is try to create the similar folder structure that is here inside this alpha demo folder inside the chamber file. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and press enter. Unknown command. Oh, sorry, I haven't specified CP. I have to say CP here. Press enter, root chunk 0, that's it. And chamber path, this chamber file is at 33 KB right now. Lovely. Now, you don't have to specify your entire chamber path and your password every single time you're trying to execute a command. To do that, you will have to create environment variables. So let me create those environment variables. You will say export chamber path equal to this, okay, and we will also say export chamber pass is equal to the password. Now if you specify a wrong password, for example here I'm setting password 1, the copy is going to fail. Let me try to copy the file. This is a movie file which is basically a screen recording of an older video that I've already uploaded on YouTube, I guess. So I'm gonna just copy this. What I'm going to say is chamber, I'm not going to specify these two, copy this file here to chamber colon slash slash movie.mov, right? It should fail because I have put in the wrong password here, right? Press enter, it says incorrect password, enter. Let me fix that. Let me set the current password here, and now I'm going to retry the copy, right? Press enter. This is more like a confirmation back to myself. I will get rid of these messages, but basically it also shows that I'm trying to write the entire file in smaller chunks, which is good because that way you can have very large files without having to you know work through a lot of barriers that otherwise would be there. Anyways, if you go to chamber path, click chamber file, you will see that the file has expanded to 2.81 GB, which is approximately the same size as this, because this plus readme, which is only a few bytes, won't show up as the difference, right? Now, we can also copy the code folder. This is a folder. I am going to copy the folder over here. Now if you just do this, it will give you an error because this is a directory, and for directories you need to specify a -r flag and -r, and it should say success in some time, success, and now it has gone on to 3.14 GB. That's because code has that size. So if you go to get info, you can see it's 3029 MB, approximately the size that got added to your chamber file. Nice. So we have copied a bunch of stuff. How do we see what is inside the chamber file? So we say chamber ls, and well, it requires the argument, and chamber colon slash slash is what you have to supply the root directory. We are trying to look at what's on the root, and the listing is more like ls minus l would do on Linux or Mac, and the first character D says that this is a directory, which we know. Code was a directory, movie was a file, this is the file size, and readme was a file. So three things. But you're not limited to just looking at the root directory. You can also go inside the directory and it will show you exactly what was there. So these things got copied. You can see models here, and let me see models. It is a directory here, and go.mod is a file. So you go to go.mod, there is a file over here, right? So that's how you can browse. You can go and press up slash and go to models, or maybe services, right? And you see this. If you go to services, you'll find the same files listed over there. Now you can also create directories inside. Remember that the directories will always report the file size as 0. That's true for now. I'm probably going to change that in a later version. So to create directories, let's try to create a TMP test directory, right? So I'll go here and I am going to say mkdir, and I'm going to say chamber / code / tmp / test, right? And that will create the directory. You can't see it here because it's not a mounted file system. And if you try to create a folder, a directory whose parent does not exist, right? If I say Vaibhav / commercial here, we know that Vaibhav does not exist because we just created test, right? So it's gonna complain. It's going to say that the parent part does not exist. For such a case, if you want to create the entire hierarchy, just like you would do on Mac or Linux, just do a -p and it will work. So the entire hierarchy can get created. Now we can also delete files and folders inside the chamber file. What I'm going to try to do is we will go to, let's say, I'll delete the readme in the code folder, and I want to delete the vendor folder altogether from inside the chamber file. Again, these things will not reflect here. So let's go chamber rm. I'm going to say chamber : / and I'm going to say code / readme.md, and it worked. Now this won't work for the vendor directory because it's a directory and it's gonna say you need to specify -r. So we'll do that and -r and press enter. Lovely, it worked. So from within the chamber file, that must have been removed. That's all good and well, but how do you get the stuff out? How do you extract it? Same thing, you will be using the cp command once more, but we will be changing the order in which we are passing the command. So instead of saying let's copy the code directory out first, and I'm going to say chamber : / code. This is a directory, so it's going to require -r over here. All right, and I don't want to override the current directory, so I'm going to specify a different one. Now when I do this, you will see a code2 directory appear here with the changes we did, which means that directory should not be having readme.md or vendor folder. This file and this folder must not be inside it. And we also created directories inside tmp. So inside tmp of code2 that should appear here, we should have a test, Vaibhav and Kaushal. That entire path should be there. And let me press enter. Press enter, it says success. You go to code 2. As you can see, readme file is gone, vendor file folder is gone. Go to tmp, you have a test. Inside test you have got Vaibhav, and inside that you have got a Kaushal directory. So that worked. You can copy out singular files. You can copy out the small file readme2.md. If I specify the same file name, it won't work because it can see that you are trying to overwrite a file, and overwriting right now is not supported, although it will overwrite directories right now. So you have to be careful of that in the alpha version. And it says the target file contains data, we will not overwrite it. So let me specify readme2.md worked. Let me try to take out the large movie file that we had, so movie2.md, and sorry, that has to be mov mov.mov, and let's go here and say mov. Press enter, and in some time it should appear out 2.81 GB. You can see the size just adjusted as it got copied out, so they look the same. Right, and you don't let's go to this and check whether they are identical byte by byte or bit by bit or not. So I'm gonna go to this path, sorry, not this, the alpha demo path over here, and press enter, and I'm going to say show me the 256 SHA-256 sum of readme.md and readme2.md, and as you can see it's identical. Also, let's compare that as a small file. Let's compare the large file, shasam movie.mov and movie2.mov, and press enter. Take a bit of time to read that those two large files, but you can see the SHA-SUM is exactly the same. So yep, that's more or less like it. You can put stuff in, you can take stuff out, you can create directories, remove files in directories from within the chamber file, and that's it. Remember that you can copy the chamber path folder. This folder here, you can take it to another machine that is supported, which means a Windows machine or a Linux machine running on ARM processor or Intel processor. Windows Intel and Linux both ARM and Intel processor, and you'll be able to use the correct file from here uh, to actually read and work with the existing chamber file right now. So this is portable, and we have tested that. So yep, that's enough. I guess you got the hang of it. If you enjoyed it, thank you. Please don't forget to check out links in the description. That is where you can get the the previous videos and the release pages mentioned over there. Thank you again. Take care. Bye bye.